For more now on all this, let's go to our legal panel. News Nation legal contributor and Law and Crime Network host Jesse Weber, and Misty Marris, trial attorney and legal analyst. Thanks to you both for being here. All right, Jennifer Crumbley is annoyed, doesn't want to turn over her cell phone. At one point, she tells police initially that Ethan, my son, has no issues. There's nothing going on. That is not what she was telling her own friends and co-workers. She told them he was hearing things and that there had been a massive fight the night before the school shooting and that Ethan was locked out of the house.
Yeah, I think the main contention here put forward by the prosecution is she was hiding evidence of these bad messages because she knew that she was in trouble, right? That's the allegation.
From the get-go.
Right, and there was one message that came out today where she texted Ethan, don't do it. This was right after the shooting, and that would signal that she knew what he was capable of. Now, her defense attorneys would say, wait a second. She was worried that he was going to kill himself, not that he was the shooter. The idea here that
the same mother who said he did what he did and he's going to have to suffer now?
Right. There's always, two ways to look at this. I think their contention is, of course, she's frustrated. Her son just did this. They're now suspecting me, but I think the prosecution is creating a narrative that she had to hide something.
Yeah, and piggyback that on the fact that the couple leaves and they hide out. So not only do they want to shield these messages from her phone, that message specifically, maybe the worst one in this entire case, Ethan, don't do it, really shows that she's aware of this danger, aware of this risk, aware that he had access to a gun, that his mental health condition was declining, and then they skip town, they hide out. There's messages that say, we're hiding out, we're out of here, we're on the run. And so all of that is going to the prosecution's case, that they're aware. Jennifer Crumbley knows that she's responsible.
See, I'm not sold by that. I don't think that's as big a deal, in my opinion, if I was sitting on the jury. It's not as if you have a suspect who you're trying to identify. Are they the murderer? And then they leave town. Of course they're the suspect. Here, I don't think that goes to the legal question of whether or not they're legally responsible for what happened with their son. Even if you accept the possibility that they realized charges were going to be brought, I don't think the jury's going to say...
What were they thinking? I don't understand.
They say they were in hiding. They say they were going to turn themselves in the next day.
Didn't they text people saying we're on the run?
On the run. Those were the exact words. So the prosecution is going to use that in order to say that they clearly knew that they had some responsibility. I do agree with Jesse. It's probably a better argument for an intent crime. This is a reckless crime. But it's still going to be something that resonates with the jury, especially now that we hear this testimony about not wanting to turn over the phone where there are very damaging text messages.
I was also struck by the fact, something Jesse and I discussed a little bit yesterday, that but I didn't notice until today's testimony, the aftermath, the exact timing of this. Right after the shooting, she's texting her boss saying, I need my job, please don't judge me for what my son did.
That goes to the overall narrative that she was more concerned about herself. I mean, the testimony today where the man she was having an affair with came out. So that shows this is a woman who could care less about what was happening with her son. She was more focused on herself. An odd message. Again, we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
The idea that she could have left school, she could have taken him out of school, but she said her job wouldn't have allowed that, which was not true. Her boss was totally accommodating. Yeah. That's a problem. That's bad facts.
Yeah, it speaks to that issue of neglect, that she's not paying attention and that there's this known risk that she's ignoring.
Prosecution's going to rest on Friday. Might we see her on the stand next week?
I think we will. She already committed in the opening statement to taking the stand. You can't go back. So we're going to see her.
I think she has no choice.
Yeah,
this is a case where she has to explain so many of these text messages, so much of her behavior, really empathize, sell what her story to this jury. I think that might be her last saving grace, in my opinion, to not get a conviction.
Cross-exam is going to be a tough one.
Sure.
Can she
with these
turn
messages.
this around? I don't know.
Well, it's a tough case. It's unprecedented. Is she morally bankrupt? Was she a bad parent? Sure, but that's not what she's on trial for. Were her actions reckless? Should she have foresaw that this could have happened? Was she negligent? That's the question. It's a legal question. If she goes on the stand and explains the school wasn't concerned, why should I be concerned? I think that's a fair argument.
Yeah, it's a good argument. I think the counter is that the school was aware of the drawing, the school was aware of some other issues, but she never shared with the school, and this came out in testimony this week, that he had access to a gun, that he was having all of these issues right around that time.
And he's hearing voices.
He's hearing voices, and all those, and those are confirmed in text messages. They're really difficult to get around.
All right, Misty Marris, Jesse Weber, great to have you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.